Well, hello and welcome back to Fair Life with Andrew McKee here on Life's a Fair. Woohoo! Oh, it's been an interesting week, and we're about to head into, well, an interesting month to say the least. Because, yeah, haha, I'm prepping for Sherwood. That's right. For me, for the next foreseeable future, I will be doing Ren fairs every weekend, and my schedule even got more crazy than I thought it would. So yeah, it's going to be crazy. So great to see y'all. Oh, hello, and Kurt and Jan and Greg and Kat and Honi and Kathy and Damaris and oh Kevin and Sarit and Kat Sarita and Janine. Wow. Okay, so good starting crowd today. Um, yeah. Great to see you. Thanks for joining me. Yes, and since you did join in, please, if you can, and if you remember, do subscribe, like on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and hit that notification bell on YouTube too, because, well, it lets you know what's going on in the future, but it also helps us out too. So we appreciate it. Woohoo! Just like the little graphic there. That was a recent addition, so those little graphics. Most of those I really despise, so I've been keeping an eye out to try to find one that I actually liked. So I think that one worked. And Gwendolyn, hello. And Lisa, wow. Builds character. I like that. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes. I think going to fair definitely builds character weekend after weekend. And it's a lot of work. It is a tiring time, but you're also enjoying yourself immensely. So it's a win-win as far as I'm concerned. Oh, and Mark, hey, great to see you too. Um, oh, okay, and Janine's starting to make plans for field season. Okay, okay. Yeah, paleontology. Yeah, trying to get away from those cold weather moments and hopefully not too much rain. Uh, so I understand. Good luck with that. That is, yeah. Logistics are crazy, aren't they? Very, very crazy. So, yeah, like I said, I'm kind of prepping for, well, Sherwood. So yeah, heading to heading to Sherwood Forest, and got to follow those important rules. They do have rules there. So yeah, I did get my tentative schedule today for the weekend. So yeah, looks like 5 main stage shows and a bunch of other little things, as I always do at Sherwood. So yeah, yeah, it is. Logistics can be interesting. It really can. It really can. Um, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's the little things, and it's so true as well. Yeah, believe it or not, that's from a Mel Brooks TV show that he co-created back from the 70s. And yeah, it's called When Things Were Rotten, and it predates Men in Tights by over a decade, and it is about Robin Hood. So yeah, 1975, When Things Were Rotten. Feel free to look it up. It's kind of surreal when you see it. Wow. So yeah, so I couldn't resist those classics, as if you will. So yeah, it getting ready for Sherwood, always interesting, but it gets even tough because at Sherwood, they the weekend or the day before the weekend around St. Patrick's Day during spring break, they make it a 3-day weekend for Sherwood, and St. Patrick's Day falls on that Friday, so I will be there, and I kind of every year to say, hey, can you play this gig on St. Patrick's? And it's been on the weekend for the last few years, so it's been tough. But I think I'm going to do it this year because it's at a pub in Bastrop, the Old Town Bar and Restaurant. So I and a few other performers are going to be out there playing Friday after fair in wow, in Bastrop for several hours, and then get back home, try to get a few hours sleep, and do a few more days of fair. So that's always interesting. Yeah, yeah. Woo! Okay, and Alicia, yeah, still trying to get out for the last few weekends, and I hope she makes it. Um, yes. Definitely. That should be fun. So yeah, then it even gets weirder because this is not guaranteed yet, but it's very likely at this point that at the end of March I'll be heading up to Chicago to do the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo, C2E2, and it's been around for well since 2010. Now, the obvious thing to think is that, oh, it's a convention that started a little over a decade ago. It's probably started off small and has been building. No, the first year it had well over 20,000 attendees. Now it gets over 100,000, or around 100,000. So, yeah, it's going to be huge. But once again, I'm going to be at Sherwood that weekend. What do you do? Well, conventions normally extend past the weekend. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up with Whitney, a friend of mine here who you know from the from Life's a Faire, and we're going to fly up. She's teaching some dancing up there, and I'm going to play music for some of that. And we're going to fly up to Chicago on Thursday, and then Friday we're going to play all these events and do that, and then take the red eye Friday night, fly back to Austin, try to get a few hours sleep, and then do 2 days of Faire again. So yeah, it's pretty crazy, trying to do that. So yeah, we'll see. Right, fly by night, literally. That's totally it. And yeah, that'll be crazy. Woo! But anyway, then I also. Well, luckily on a plane, maybe I can get a nap. I'm gonna try. I don't normally sleep well on planes, but we'll see. Do my best. Shot. Yeah. Then what it looks like is, well, then I also got booked for the New Jersey Ren Fair. So that's at the end of May and the beginning of June. So what I'll do is in between Sherwood and Jersey, I'll have a few weekends free. And what I'm thinking is maybe I'm thinking of at the end of April, that weekend, it's around my birthday, and doing a birthday show. I mean, a lot of people have said, hey, play more music, do that. And I really haven't done much online music lately. So I don't know. I know Chris Dobie has been screaming for it. So maybe, yeah, maybe at the end of April that weekend, doing a show online for an hour, 2 hours, whatever, something like that. So yeah, I mean, is that something y'all would like to see? Me playing music for a while? And also, if you would, I'm kind of curious, would you rather it be like a ticketed show where you have to buy tickets to get in and do it like through Bandcamp streaming, or would you rather it be like a free show like here on Facebook and YouTube, and then just set it up for tips? So you could just give tips through PayPal and Venmo or whatever. I mean, do y'all have a preference on that? I mean, there's pros and cons to both ways, and I can, yeah, I don't necessarily have a preference. I mean, the instinct for a musician is to normally go with a ticketed show, but I don't know if it's the best way. I mean, it's really apples and oranges in many ways. Well, yeah, that's wants to. Okay, so, well, my birthday is, it probably wouldn't be on my birthday. It'd be like around, because my birthday is like a few days before the weekend, and I thought about maybe doing it on the weekend. So I'm totally cheating there, but I actually don't mind. It's fun. Okay, okay. So, but you'd rather do the tipping thing. Well, sure, and I totally get that. I mean, that's why you do the ticket thing. I mean, because people who show up, they're already there. I mean, at that point, tipping is like an option. Nobody necessarily expects it. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you would no reason to feel compelled to tip if you bought a ticket. Trust me. So what you're saying is, Kevin, is I should try one of each and then let you decide. I mean, I have done both in the past online. in previous years. So I've tried both, but you would have to see them, is what you're saying. So I need to do two shows for you. Okay, that's good feedback. That's good feedback. Um, okay, so Lisa. Okay, so that's a good point. Sometimes tipping can be difficult. I mean, do you have the same setup, but you have a PayPal account that you can do that with, or Venmo, or Cash App, or whatever? I mean, how easy is it for you when you just buy a ticket? You buy a ticket, you're good. If you want to tip over that, you could, but even if you can't, it's no stress. You're covered. I get that. Okay. Um, okay. And either one. Wow, y'all are so easygoing about this. I was hoping I wouldn't have to make the decision myself. Hmm. Mm. Oh, okay. Yeah, and that is an option. That is a way to do an after show on Zoom for a ticket price, or something like that. Uh, I mean, you can do that through Bandcamp as well. They have ways to set up rooms to get together and talk. So yeah, I mean that is possible. Yeah, I mean, or I could do all of the above. I mean, I could have a pre-show that's free, then do a paid ticket show, and then do an after show. I mean, we could go crazy with it. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh wow, really? That's interesting. That's old school. Check his mail. I like that. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I just thought I would ask in case anybody was very adamant about it. And it sounds like everybody's kind of easygoing. There's some preferences here and there, but there's no like, oh, I'm not coming if it's not like this. So, right. And that's the good thing about Bandcamp. Why I would use them. If you have that, you can rewatch the show. They give you that. It's a live stream, but if you have the ticket, you can. You have to set up an account with them for the ticket and to do all of that. It's really easy, just username and email address and that kind of thing. But once you do, you have access to that show. So yeah. Well, I mean, no, actually, you are. Believe it or not, it sounds like y'all are pretty easygoing about it. Okay, so that's the requirement for Damaris. Got it. Okay, okay. So it has to be Andrew, not Andrew. Okay, that sounds reasonable. I can accept that. Very reasonable. Okay. Well, New Jersey. This will be the first time that I've played there, and I was thinking about maybe doing a weekend at Scarborough after for maybe the first weekend of May. I talked to the entertainment director about doing that, and it sounds like it shouldn't be a problem. That's not confirmed yet, but I wanted to wait and see how the schedule all fit for me. But yeah, maybe just going out to do some busking and try my hand at Scarborough, because I wasn't sure how well that would work for me. It's been a while since I've played there. And in the past, I did stage work mostly. So doing lane work, I mean, I'm a lot better at it now than I used to be. So we'll see. We'll see. I may try that the first weekend of May and then go to Jersey. And I have a lot of friends who perform at Jersey from different fairs and people I've known. And it's a really fun time with a lot of great people. So I've been wanting to go here for last few years, but it looked like it was going to happen. And then the pandemic started, and that kind of put a axe in a lot of things that we were planning on. And so I'm really glad this kind of worked out. Oh yeah, you're right, Cad. Yeah, I was going to say that it is. They are having it at a new site this year, which I don't know. That could either be good or bad. I mean, from everything I've heard, it's good, but new site. There's always that. Can we get everything set up in time and make everything work perfectly? But from the sound of it, it's going to be a very good thing. So I'm looking forward to it. Definitely. So yeah. Well, that's fair. It's not like I won't see you elsewhere, Jan. So it's good. But definitely. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Jersey. That'll be a great time, and yeah, totally. And it also sounds like this is just a possibility, but it sounds like there's a Celtic festival the weekend after Jersey in that area. I don't know if it's at the same site. It's somewhere around there, and they were talking about me maybe performing out there too. So I might actually be out there for 4 weekends. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to be pretty busy for the next several months. Like I said. So yeah, yeah. Um, oh, okay. So more room, easier parking. They're working on stages now. That's great. And that's sort of the trick. I mean, the first year, I mean, you kind of have to give them a pass because you get what you can done in the time you're given. I mean, as long as you have the essentials, first year, okay. I mean, it's just this is going to be at the very least, if you've gone to Jersey before, this is going to be a different experience, and that alone is going to make it worthwhile. Just it's something special. And first years, even I mean, first even if it's just a different location, they are special. So yeah, this is I'm really thrilled that it worked out this year for me. Yeah, build super character. Right. Yeah, and that's the way you look at it. I mean, like I said, it's just fun. I mean, I'm traveling and seeing a lot of people that I really love and get to hang out with, and I get to play music. I mean, I know it sounds like such a chore, right? It really does. I mean, I'm living my dream right now. It's great. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. That's a good question for logistics. No, I'm going to stay out in New Jersey for that time. I'm going to be staying there. Uh, I think I've got a place to stay already lined up. But hey, if any of you are out there or know somebody who has an extra room, let me know because it's nice to have options, definitely. But no, I'm going to stay out there for the 4 weeks and probably see about doing some other gigs or some other stuff around there. Maybe look at some house concerts or do some stuff. I don't know. I'm going to talk talk to people out there, and if you're in that area, hey, send me a message, and we'll see what we can do. It'll be good. Oh, right, right, right. Yeah, right, Kurt. You're not wrong, and that's like I said, those essentials. That's you gotta have the privies, and you gotta have the food, you gotta have the parking. And if you have all of those, performers and cast, we can make anything else work. I mean, we can stand in front of the stage if we have to, and play music and just walk down the aisles in front of where everybody's sitting. I mean, you can make do if you have to, and entertain and have a great time. The trick is just getting those essentials, and I'm sure that's what they're concentrating on, and they will. This is it's not the beautiful thing here is these are all professionals. They've done this. This is not the first fair they've ever started. This is this is the fair they've been working on and tweaking. They know what needs to be done. So I'm not really that worried. If I gave that impression, I'm sorry. Did not mean to, because yeah, they're a lot of good people who know what they're doing. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, seeing a fair expand is great. Those firsts at a fair are always the best. First year, first expansion, first move. It's always those are always special years that you tend to remember, if for no other reason, just because it helps you group those time periods together. Okay, it was before the move, or after the move, or you really remember them. So it's nice. It's nice. Um, oh wow. Okay. Hey now. Oh gosh, that was kind of whiny, wasn't it? I mean, oh really? You think I whine? I don't whine. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't. Yeah, totally. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this is gonna be it's gonna be a great spring, and I'm really gonna enjoy it. And now, don't worry, I'm gonna do my best to make sure that I can continue to do the show, at least in some capacity. But for the next few months, I'll still be in Austin, so that won't be a problem. When I go to New Jersey, the current setup I have, apparently there is internet. I don't know how fast, but I can make it work. Worst case scenario, it might be not quite as high of a bit rate, Well, we can make it work, so don't worry. Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, excellent. Oh, mercy. Okay, so I don't know if for those of you that saw the show last week was I talked a good bit about AI and Chat GPT and got to talk a bit about that. And yeah, I was wondering if any of you had tried it since then, messed with it, or just tried it in general if you didn't see last week's show, because since then, it's been in the news like crazy. You can't go to any news website and not see something about AI right now. It is, it's a little nuts. The last week has been crazy with it. So yeah, kind of glad I mentioned it and talked about it a little bit. If you're curious, go take a quick look at the show, and I talk about my experience with it and what I think it kind of means. Um, yeah, yeah, I think it's a good tool that people can use, but uh, don't get your hopes up. It can aid people. I think it can replace some people's jobs, but nowhere near as many as people think or are afraid of. I mean, you can try, but it's not going to do a great job. And my prediction is that there's going to be a lot of blowback over the next 6 months to 2 years of companies using ChatGPT and getting called out on it. People saying, "How dare you?" And it causing problems. It treating people badly, bad customer service. You know, giving the wrong directions or the wrong information, news articles not being fact checked correctly, and them being called on that. I mean, it's going to be a thing because the problem is it's not infallible. Quite the contrary. It really has no wisdom about what information is right and wrong. So, as a research tool, it's still pretty good. I like it. It's better than search engines for certain uses. But yeah, that's my prediction. I think it's going to be it's going to cause some serious problems. Uh, yeah. Yeah, actually, that's a really good analogy, Alicia. I think so. Kind of reminds me of early GPSs sending people to the Australian outback. I mean, yeah, it's not perfect. I mean, you think about it with like customer service bots online when you go to their website and want help, and instead of talking to a person, that you start with a bot, and based on what keywords you put in, internet down, it would say, "Have you tried rebooting your router?" It would just work from a flowchart based on the words you type in, and hopefully some people would give up and stop typing in because they were bored with it. Others, it might actually solve their problem, and it limits the barrage of questions that they have for the real people. And generally they were pretty frustrating, and it did tick people off at the time. We're kind of going through that again, but I think it has the potential to cause even more problems. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, yeah. That you can do some good stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, you're not wrong. Although there have been some professors who have integrated Chat GPT in their curriculum by teaching kids, okay, this is how you use this tool when you write a paper, and causing them to actually utilize it as part of the assignment. And it's been successful. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: there are people that will cheat, and there are people that won't. And there are some people who, if given a chance, they wouldn't normally think about it, but they might do it if it's presented to them. And that's it. I mean, that's never going to change, no matter how the technology changes. So I think roll with it. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you don't really want to talk with people. I totally get you there, Lisa. That is very true. True. Turning it off and on again? Oh, you mean the computers? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes that type of thing can be good for the common sense stuff to tell people who lack common sense. I'll grant you that. But it's still the same stuff you could find on a website that just said, hey, my internet's down. What do I do? And it just lists do these things before you call. I mean, it's really not much different. But pretending to be a person in chat, I think, that always bugged me. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah, I think just having them go through that initially before they call, and if they want to do it through chat, okay. But sometimes they would come across and pretend to be a person, and hi, I'm James, I'm here to help, and yeah, it just seemed very disingenuous a little bit. Right, totally. But I think I'm a tech person, so I probably took it a little more personally than the average Joe, to be honest. So that could just be it. Anyway, ChatGPT, it's interesting. If you haven't tried it, give it a shot. I mean, think of it like a search engine, but you can give it very detailed desires, like write a paragraph about this, or what's the current situation with this, or list the best uses for this. And there's really some cool uses that searching on a search engine, you have to go through all these pages, and some of them are junk, and this will do that for you. It essentially is sorting through those pages, finding the information it thinks best works with your description. The trick is just what you type in. So if you can get good at it, it could be useful. And yeah, that's always been an issue. Yeah. That is always, yes. Believe me, there are people that could use that lesson, definitely. Right, right. And there are compatibility issues with different browsers, definitely. Like for instance, when some of the stuff I'm using here for streaming, I make sure to use a Chrome-based browser for streaming because it tends to do a better job with sending video and audio and approaching that. It's almost always better, not as bad as it used to be, but it's still safer to go ahead and use that for compatibility. Now, for general research, I use Firefox because I can shut that down and turn off all telemetry and trackers, and pretty easily. You can really configure that well, and I like that. Funny. So anyway, yeah. So let's jump over. I mean, we're already. Oh gosh, it's already 7:30. Okay, let's jump over because yeah, we have the. Let's jump over to the Faire map. Wait a minute. Did I not update the Faire map? It looks like the old one. Wait a minute. Oh, I didn't update the Faire map. That was me. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, that was me. Sorry. There we go. Now we got it. Now there's the new one. Whew. That was close. Okay, let's jump over to the full map here, and let's go ahead and jump out the nice happy pet enjoyment device. There we go. Yay! Little laser pointer action. There we go. And start off with the Bay Area Renaissance Festival in Dade City, Florida. That's the third weekend out of 7, and the theme is wine, chocolate, and romance. Yep, those are the 3. That's good. That's good. Speaking of flirting, they're good weekend for that. Then jumping down to the Florida Renaissance Festival in Deerfield Beach, Florida. It's weekend 5 out of 8, and it is the Days of Cosplay. Heroes, villains, and everything in between. Then jumping over to the other side of Florida, we have the Gulf Coast Renaissance Fair and Pirate Festival in Milton, Florida. Just one weekend. Then coming over where I'll be this weekend, no pressure. Not saying it's the best, but I will be there, is the Sherwood Forest Fair at McDade, Texas. This is the first weekend out of 8. Then jumping over to the Arizona Renaissance Festival in Apache Junction, Arizona. And weekend 5 out of 9, and the theme is Pirate Invasion and Brewfest. So yeah. So very, very nice. Now, one thing I happened to notice here was the Florida Renaissance Festival. And out of 8 weekends, I think 5 of them, at least 5, are fantasy based. I mean, they're not historical at all. I mean, I was really blown away by that percentage. Normally, you have like one or two, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. I was a little surprised by that. Yeah, it was really, yeah, just so many fantasy weekends. Like here, let's go through it real quick. You have the Wizarding World's Fair on weekend one. That's Harry Potter code right there. Barbarians and Dragons, which is pretty much just saying Dungeons and Dragons right there. I mean, with Barbarians, little Conan. Weekend three is Steampunk and Time Travelers. Um, okay, obviously. And weekend five is Days of Cosplay. That's this weekend. And then the last weekend is the Mad Hatter Circus. And I mean, it's all fantasy based. The only three that aren't are the Celtic weekend, the Pirate weekend, and one called last weekend, which was Maidens, Winches, and Goddesses, a beautiful empowerment, which I don't know. I mean, if it's about female empowerment, okay. Although some women might call that fantasy, even in current times, but we won't get into that argument. But with goddesses, I don't know if this is a code for Wicca or pagan or what. I mean, goddesses I'd normally put more as fantasy too, but I don't know. In the current context, it's a little ambiguous for me. So yeah, it's a little weird. And I think that might be the direction some fairs are kind of starting to go. That they're kind of going more towards the fantasy themes, pop culture fantasy themes now, as opposed to historical. They're really starting to move over to that. Not all fairs, but a few seem to be going that route. And if they're successful, you can bet the others are probably going to go that way too. So it's kind of interesting. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. It's I don't know. I mean, there's pros and cons for that. Certainly potentially more money, but this is definitely not a historical approach to this. This is marketing. This is trying to get more people in wearing costumes to make it more like a convention, sci-fi fantasy can get those dollars into the fair, as opposed to treating it like an historical reenactment thing. Okay, fair enough. So yeah. Huh. Anyway, that's just kind of interesting. And yeah, kind of interesting. Wow, I'm already going so far over, but I feel like I should go ahead and do 7 reasons, right? Because this is always fun. So 7 reasons. We'll jump into that real quick. Okay, 7 reasons. Now, since I'm starting fairs again, I thought, okay, let's jump into this, and I thought 7 reasons fair hats are both stupid and excellent, because there are some. So let's jump into that. So number 7, here we go. So yeah, and if any of you have favorite hats or anything, or hat you hate hats or whatever, please comment, say what you think, because this is what we're talking about. Okay, number 7, the sun they keep off. That's right, because hats at fair. There a lot of fairs, they go for the spring, summer, or fall, not the winter, and you get some hot days out there with the sun beating down on you. So having a hat that can kind of keep that sun off your face is very, 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 very nice sometimes. It can definitely save you on the sunscreen department. So yeah, definitely kind of cool. It has its place, most assuredly. Number 6, the heat they keep in. Because you get cold days at fair too. And when you do, having something to keep your head warm, well, that's one of the things hats were really big on. That's a big deal for hats back in the Renaissance. I mean, yeah, it was to warm your head. So yeah, very, very good. Very, very good. Hats are never stupid, maybe crushed. I like that. Oh yeah, definitely. Number 5, the fascinators. Right now, fascinators. Wow, it's a term that's been around for the last few hundred years, and it's mainly it started out as a part of well, okay, back in the early part of the 1500s, women's hats really started to become a lot more ornate. Things started being added to them, and you had the word milliner came into use. And for those of you who aren't familiar, a little extra Renaissance word of the week here. It's the term for a maker of women's hats, and but they gradually started using the concept of fasteners, where you would fasten the different lace and different ribbons and around a hat, but fascinators, like a fascinator. But it kind of got evolved to a term from about description to a term for intent, because the more ornate the hats got, the more they were a part of trying to get attention. So the term fascinators, as in fascinate, came into use. So yeah, so that's kind of a little bit of cool history there, but kind of look at it as just adding some flair to your garb. That's really the thing. I mean, fascinators now, it usually means like those crazy hats that the royals wear at events in Europe. That's generally where you see them, where you see the term used now. Number 4, sometimes they are required. I mean, some fairs actually require all cast and performers to wear a hat. It's part of the contract, believe it or not. You have to do it. It's really bizarre to me. And some of them are very obsessive. You come in, oh, I forgot my hat today. Well, find something. Take that scarf and put it on your head. That happened to me once. I mean, it's really a big deal. I get it. I mean, pictures and everything tend to look better with hats. It can hide those modern haircuts. I get that. But sometimes they can get a little over the top with it. It's kind of funny. But yeah, it happens. It happens. Okay. Number 3. It can add vibrancy to your attire. I mean, you can put clashing colors. You can put something, it's far enough removed from the rest of your garb that you can do something totally different on your hat and really add some, not just flair, but really interesting color choices that can really help you stand out. So yeah, it's kind of nice. It's a fun route to go when doing that on the other parts of your garb might be a little bit of a challenge. So yeah. Number 2. It's where I hide my vocal mic, right? I mean, it's totally, I hide a little vocal mic underneath the top right here. It's a small little micro lavalier, and it will pick up my voice and a little bit of my recorder. What I've discovered, though, over the past couple of years of using that is that the micro lavalier, it doesn't quite have the gain that a regular lav mic does. You actually have to really push the volume up, so it tends to be a little on the quiet side, which is not what you want when you're trying to pick up your voice with a micro lavalier. So I either need a wireless setup that can provide more gain, or I need to use a different mic, maybe a larger one, and hide it better, but or differently. So yeah, that's sort of where I am with that. I'm trying to figure out, because I really hate those little wires that go around and with a mic. It just, it to me, it's like you're obsessed with wearing a hat to try to look period, but you're gonna have all these mics that are out. That's just stupid. So I'm a fan of trying to limit that if I can. And number one, there's actually the phrase in the performer's profession called passing the hat. I mean, come on. That's what you do. You take off your hat and hold it out to get tips after a performance. And now, generally, yeah, you could have a tip bucket or something else to use, but this is a backup. And I've had situations where I've played with other performers on stage, and we divide up. One person goes one way to collect tips, another person goes another way in the audience, and I have a tip bucket, and they only have their hat. So they take it off and they're just like, okay, we'll do that. It's an easy way to present to people, hey, um, uh, give me give what you can in my hat. So it just works. And honestly, that's one of the things that really sold me on the value of hats at Faire more than almost anything else. Because I realized, it does have an actual functional use other than trying to look good. Right. It's nice to have those options. Um, right. Some people will do it. Like I think a lot of it is about the haircuts, honestly. And if you have like monks, people who are dressed as monks at a fair, I've seen them who they actually have the monk haircut kind of thing, and it's like, well, that's almost like wearing a hat in itself. So if you do that, okay. But yeah, I mean, you can get special dispensation, but it's hard to do. It really is. You really have to be able to justify it. And if you're trying to justify something through speaking, well, Shakespeare's the guy to get it done. Let's be honest. So always. So okay. So a lot of that definitely okay. So yeah. Anyway, woo. Oh, very nice. Okay. Well, okay, we're back. And wow, this was a long show, and I really didn't mean for that to. I really didn't mean for this to be a long show, but thanks. It's always great hanging out with y'all and talking. So I just usually let it go and try not to put those time limits on conversations if I can help it, because it's fun. I like it. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes you have to be a hypocrite. You can't help it sometimes. Right. Well, thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. Well, okay, let's call it here and say, I'll have a lot to tell you next show about Sherwood because it'll be open after opening weekend. That's so, new fair season for me. This is so good. I know a lot of people have been doing fairs for the last month and a half. But yeah, I kind of got in the habit of starting late, and I need to curb that. I'm going to look at next year doing more in January, February, trying to make that happen because I just developed some bad year schedule habits where because of past situations. Yeah, I expected not to find work at that point. So I just took the time off and set that as time for projects to work on. And I have gotten a lot done, but still, yeah, it'd be nice to throw a few more fairs in because, yeah, always good. So thanks for joining me. Have a good time, a good week, a good weekend. And if you can go to a fair, give one a shot because they are a ton of fun. And if you do, you can. If you will, you'll have a fair life. Guaranteed. So take care. See you next week.